Kia ora guys, welcome back to the Black Jersey. My name's Max, I'm the host of this channel, and today's video is going to be brought to you by Rugby News Magazine, an awesome New Zealand business who do top-notch journalism, and they made excellent coverage on the Rugby Championship. I'm not going to be reviewing the All Blacks versus Wallabies final match of the tournament, which allowed the All Blacks to win, because today we're going to discuss the team of the tournament, and a big thank you to my patrons as well for their awesome ongoing support of this channel. I've got 6 Springboks, 5 All Blacks, 3 Pumas and 1 Wallaby in this team, and to be honest, I was quite surprised the Springboks didn't win the tournament, because I wasn't actually expecting the improvements from the All Blacks as Ian Foster's the coach, but I will say, this is the first time the team has improved since 2016. I'm also really happy with the progress of Los Pumas, and so let's take it away and get into the team of the tournament. For Loosehead Prop, I have Ethan de Groot, who plays for the Highlanders in Super Rugby. I was absolutely livid he wasn't picked for the All Blacks for the Ireland's Test series, but now he's a regular starter. George Bower's been supplanted as the number 1, and my goodness, his de Groot made a difference in the scrum. His ruck speed is so quick, and yes, he does come do a bit of the turnover winning and stuff like that. 229 minutes played was a fair bit of an effort for a guy that wasn't even in the squad at the start of the season, so a massive pat on the back for the big fella who also played against a Tier 1 nation for the first time. Now over at hooker, there's going to be a lot of fellow All Blacks fans who are rather grumpy at me for this one, but the thing is, Malcolm, Marks and Samisoni Taukei'aho were the top 2 players of the tournament, and they play the same position, so I had a really hard time deciding which of these guys I was going to select at hooker, and I've gone for Marks as he managed to play his 50th test, while he also got 2 tries, won 9 turnovers for the most of the competition, and he also got 2 Man of the Match awards, one against Los Pumas and another against the All Blacks. What a way to bring up 50 tests. An outstanding tournament from Marks. He is indeed going to be my player of the tournament. Those who watched me kind of early on as I started this channel will have noticed I didn't really appreciate Franz Malherbe back then because he had pretty low ruck speed, but nowadays the coaches use him in a way that's much better. He's a very good reader of the game, and so having him behind the breakdown, coaching his teammates on the defensive positioning to take has been really good, whereas he's looking a little bit fitter these days and is a very good scrummager. He also surpassed 50 tests during the competition. 23 meters run isn't massive, but off 9 carries, it's actually not too bad, so I won't get too grumpy there at Malherbe. Plus, he played every game of the competition, so I can't really fault him for that. I think he's playing pretty good footy right now, and I'm thinking after watching him this tournament, it's not going to be a surprise at all to see him become a coach one day. There's a bit of a South African vibe to this tight 5 already, and yes, both of my locks are South African as well. Eben Etzebeth is my number 4. His tackling probably wasn't the flashiest of the tournament, to be honest, but ruck speed is the main thing I'm picking tight 5 forwards off, and Eben Etzebeth is always going to get there pretty darn quick as he's unbelievably lean and fit. Just after getting his 100th cap, he bought it for the Rugby Championship. He had a bit of a scuffle with Ala Alatoa to remind us how scary he is, and he also ran 43 meters off 22 carries. Considering how less South Africa touches the ball compared to other teams, it's actually not a bad effort when you consider how often they revert to the boot during matches. Etzebeth also made 3 offloads, so that's not very common for a lock either. A well done Rugby Championship to this guy who is proving test by test he's probably going to be going down as the greatest Springbok of all time. The other lock is Lou Diaga. Of course, he played in all 6 games as well. He made a lot of tackles, 58 out of 63, and his carrying was immense again. Did a fair bit of passing for a lock as well, and yes, he did get the single turnover to remind us that it's not just the loosies who can do that job. Lou Diaga has grown into such a mature decision-making player, and he's just evolved so much under the Nienaber and Erasmus tenures. We're now heading over to the loose forwards. I'm kind of cheating as the number 6 is an open side for Argentina, but 21-year-old Juan Martin Gonzalez truly was the find of the championship for Argentina. He's just 21 years old, as I said, and he's yet to even reach 20 tests, but he was outstanding. Huge carry meters, the second to most tries of the competition with 4, made 4 clean breaks during the tournament, decent tackle accuracy and 2 turnovers to go alongside them, as he is indeed a very strong open side. This team's not intended to play, it's just intended to show whom I think the best players were, and if that's the criteria, I've got to put this guy in, because when the commentators are referring to him as Pablo Matera for whatever reason, that's a pretty good chance that you're doing a good job there. The open side, Adi Savia, the world's best player for 4 seasons now, how incredible he was. Though he did not play every game of the championship due to the arrival of his 3rd child, he did not get subbed off the entire time he was on the pitch. Got a try during the competition and some pretty high carry meters, as well as 9 defenders beaten. How outstanding is that? 43 from 44 tackles, only missing a single one. What a tournament the big man had, and 46 passes. That's an insane number for a number 8. This guy is at the top of his game right now, and my goodness, could he command a huge salary if he moved overseas. I did have to put him at 7 though, because there's one player who used to play at open side a lot that has now found a name for himself at number 8. The player in question for that there is Pablo Matera. He was outstanding during Super Rugby, and he's carried his club form over to international, playing a grand total of 426 minutes during the Rugby Championship, while making a massive 60 tackles during the competition, with 51 carries and 39 passes as well. This guy is just living his best prime form right now. He's getting so close to 90 tests as well, and my goodness, I would not be surprised to see him overtake Creevy and Sanchez as the most capped Pumas player of all time. Now to discuss my sponsor, Rugby News Magazine. They've been absolutely excellent throughout the competition, with great reviews of the Bledisloe, great reviews of other matches, always taking notes of who comes on for who. They're also getting accounts from players such as the New Zealand Sevens player Michaela Blyde. Kieran Reid's recently been a contributor to them, while mainstream journalists such as Liam Napier have come along to show where their true passion is in rugby. This is where the actual good attention to detail goes. You're not going to find any clickbait here. This is just awesome grassroots work by people who are passionate about what they are covering. Visit their website, Rugby News Magazine, to become a subscriber. They send you out a monthly magazine, and they're always very good reads with all kinds of articles covering schoolboy rugby, women's rugby, men's rugby, and my goodness, do they do great work when it comes to the build up to Super Rugby and end of season reviews for that season. They've also done some pretty decent work on the NPC as of late, so I thoroughly recommend the magazine. I think I first read it around 2016, so I've been reading it for a very long time, and they truly are the best magazine in the business for rugby. Over to the backs now. Some people are going to be a bit confused why I've got Nick White in as my halfback. Well, to put it simply, guys, there really just wasn't a standout halfback during the competition, all of them being totally 100% honest, so I just had to go for who did the basics best. The basics of being halfback is pretty much determined around your communication and your responsibility for your team's tactics. Nick White, I think, was probably the best in terms of that. I know a lot of South Africans are going to be very grumpy at me for selecting him, as they do believe Nick White needs to work on his acting, but he had very quick passes, strong impact off the bench in the Bledisloe games, including a penalty goal that he thought was going to seal the cup for the first time in 20 years. He does need to do a bit of work on his tackling, but he was also winning turnovers during the competition, which is very rare for a 9. Even though he is an Aussie, I want to give credit where it's due, because Nick White had very good game management during the competition. Finally, Richie Mo'unga returns to the 10 jersey as a regular starter for the All Blacks. After falling out of favour for the sake of going on parental leave for whatever reason last year, Ian Foster has returned Richie Mo'unga to the 10 jersey. He's not as sharp as he was last season, but he is indeed in very good form, and I was never going to go past the top point scorer, though he is tied of the competition for this team, playing a massive 409 minutes. He also got quite close to running in 200 meters, while his tackle accuracy was pretty decent as well, with 34 from 40 attempts. More passes than carries as well, a staggering 92, despite going forward just 34 times. So he's passing more than he's actually running himself, which just shows the hands-on decision making I've talked about in so many previous videos. A lot of people know me as pro Mo'unga, and these stats are the reason why I am so pro Mo'unga. Over to the left wing, Makazole Mapimpi. A few people wanted to have Koroi Betty in their teams, but he only scored one try during the competition. Come on, guys. Makazole Mapimpi was a bit more consistent. If not for a yellow card, he'd have played every minute of this competition, whereas he also made 8 clean breaks. So he made more clean breaks than he played matches, for crying out loud. 25 from 30 tackles is not bad for a winger at all. Like, that's some pretty active defense from guys who normally just get blown away when they're on the back foot. Mapimpi also beat 4 defenders off just 18 carries, so despite not getting a lot of ball, he truly is still playing very good footy despite being in his 30s, and that's crazy when you consider how most wingers fall off around 27 years old. Mapimpi is in prime form. He's playing even better than 2019. Goodness me, what a tournament he had. Over to the centre pairing. After the first 4 rounds, I was pretty determined that Lukhanyo and David Havili were going to be my combo, but and Havili both got injured, and Havili was bad in the 2 All Blacks losses. So in its second 5, I'm going to go for Damien Dialendi. The game is definitely moving away from the crash ball running 12, but this is about who played the best footy. Dialendi played every single minute of this competition. Well done to him, while he also made 39 carries and beat 17 defenders. That's massive. He's not normally been known for scoring tries despite his position there, but he did score 2 this time around, so he is getting a bit more ball than he got last year. I want to commend the fact that he stepped up as a decision maker after Lukhanyo got ruled out for the season as well, so well done to Damien Dialendi, who is probably going to be in my 2022 World 15 at the end of the year. Rieko Ioane at centre, take a bow, my man, take a bow. 466 minutes, 392 metres run, 24 defenders beaten, 7 clean breaks, all off just 41 carries. A lot of people seem to say, no, he's not a centre, he doesn't pass enough, but he did make 30 passes, so that's quite close to his actual carry ratio. 33 from 36 tackles is not too bad either, especially when you consider the try savers he was pulling throughout the competition. 2 Man of the Match awards as well to Rieko Ioane. With Lukhanyo out, I was never going to go for anybody else. awesome stuff from Rieko Ioane, who's proving once again he is indeed a centre. Over on the right wing, Emiliano Boffelli's 137 metres is not too much for a winger, but he did make 18 passes compared to 28 carries, so it was nice to see him slot in as an extra distributor. He was the man of the match against the All Blacks through 6 penalty goals. He did not miss a kick the entire game there, 480 minutes played as well. He did not miss a single minute of the championship, just like Dialendi. He was the top point scorer, tied with Moonga with 71 points. So what an outstanding effort he had. He is almost definitely going to be in my World 15. Outstanding player Emiliano Boffelli. He's been great for some time, and I think that under Michael Cheika we are seeing the best of him. A big talking point after the end of the last test for the All Blacks and Wallabies was how well Jordie Barrett did in a man-of-the-match performance at second 5. Though that was the case, he was absolutely outstanding, and I think he is indeed still our best fullback. He did not miss a tackle the entire championship, so you cannot trust anybody else in our backfield to be the last line of defence. A massive 54 carries as well, with 302 metres and 14 defenders beaten off them, 2 clean breaks and 2 tries to go with that as well, while he also played 452 minutes through the competition. I've got so many hyperbolic expressions that I could bring out about Jordie Barrett, but words just don't come out of my mouth to describe how good that guy was. He was absolutely outstanding, so I can't think of a better way to wrap up this video. Remember to check out my sponsor Rugby News Magazine and visit their website to become a subscriber to their monthly magazines. And cheers to all my returning subscribers and my patrons who got to view this team list early. If you guys like this video, make sure to give me the subscribe as well. Comment your team of the season on the video, and of course like this video to help me get through the algorithm and things like that. You can also support me over on Instagram and on Twitter, where I just post things to keep everybody entertained, have a bit of a laugh. If you're not too keen to become a patron, you're all good though. You can just make a one-off donation to my PayPal tip jar. One final time, make sure to check out Rugby News Magazine and make sure to subscribe to me over here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching my coverage of the tournament, guys. Awesome stuff to finish the Rugby Championship. Cheers.